Well, you can't pay the players better if nobody is paying to come to see them. And the people who want to pay, who would like to pay to come to see them, they then decide that they're going to look at it on Wii Sport. So we have a dichotomy that we face in the development of sport in terms of developing our own national attitude towards sport. We need to understand that there are many complexities towards the development of sport and towards the development of football. Nobody in this room, nobody in Trinidad and Tobago could ever discount the fact that we have talented football players. Talent is not the only thing. It is only one thing. There are many other things. At the recent Rugby World Cup, Australia didn't make it into the finals. There is no other country in the world that has more rugby being played at all levels and the highest amount of money being paid to rugby players than Australia. And it just didn't happen. Why? Because it's not as simple as just having the best players. It's not as simple as that. And we need to understand that our commitment must go beyond the podium. We need to understand that our commitment must not be only to when we are winning. And it is not about finding fault when it is we are losing. It is about finding the solutions. We have never come together as a country to decide on what it is we should really do to develop sport. We have gotten many mixed signals from the politicians. We go up and down, and I've been in it since in the 80s. And we go up and down and up and down. And we can't manage it in a sustainable manner unless there's a clear and distinct policy with regard to how we deal with these things. But on the other side of the equation, people who are involved in sport management and sport development must take responsibility for what they're actually doing. Number one, it is not only about the money. It is about intellect. It is about passion. Remember, sport is about volunteerism. It is about people who are supposed to have a passion for seeing it evolve. Not about seeing people get on the podium, but to seeing how it interacts with a young child, how it creates principles, values in young people, how it then moves people forward to the next level. So that, in closing, I mean, this is not a topic that is going to end in its discussion in one day. This is a topic that needs to be discussed, and it needs to be discussed at length. People need to understand what the issues are. There are many, many issues. But to categorize it in two broad things. The first one is participation. The second one is access. Within participation, you have things like coaching, refereeing, management, facilities, sports science. Access requires funding. In between there, you have many national teams and you have a lot of national effort taking place. We could talk ad nauseum about all the different systems and styles and processes that need to be implemented for an athlete to perform best on the field. But I can tell you as a sports scientist that the thing that we lack the most on the field of play is spatial awareness. Simple. Spatial awareness. We don't understand geometry, the geometry of sport. And that has come about because, and as complicated as it sounds, it's very, very simple. We don't have young kids who understand what it means to tumble, to cartwheel, to roll, to jump, to spin. These are things that are learned. Agility, coordination, and balance. The three most basic things in learning any sport must be learned between the ages of birth and the ages of 8 years old. If it is not learned before that, it will never be learned. Right? Understand that there are some integral parts that are missing into the system. Physical education must go back into primary school. It's not there. Unless we teach young kids, unless we have an understanding of what spatial awareness is, I don't care how good a talent a footballer is. When you put him on the field of play and you give him an instruction, he is not going to understand it because he's not going to see it from above. Not everybody comes with that talent. So that even if you have a talent for skill with the ball, that may not be the attribute you're looking for when you go out to talent identify. If you talk to the greatest talent identifiers or the identifying systems in the world, you go to England, you go to South Africa, you go to Australia, you go to New Zealand. When they go out to do talent identification, they don't go to play the sport. They are going to talent identify the attributes that are going to make you a good athlete. Strength, power, speed, agility, sight. Nothing to do with playing the game. We need to understand that. Before you even get to the point of saying that an athlete is a talented athlete, can he take the pressure? Is he able to interact with his peers? What kind of social network has this athlete come from? How does he see himself on the field? Can he visualize when the coach tells him to change, we're changing from this formation to this formation? These are not things that are natural, you know. These are things that you have to learn, and you have to learn them very young. Things like skill, learn very old. But the attributes of agility, coordination, and balance, you have a very narrow window to learn them. So that if it is that we are not actually looking at developing the sport from the youngest possible point, then you will still end up in the problem where you got a lot of people who could kick the ball nice, and a lot of people who could dribble.